Welcome to Behind Business Trends, Chattanooga Edition podcast, powered by #Mall Network. I'm your host, Tanisha Irvin. This podcast spotlights trendy consumer goods brands in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area and is sponsored by The Company Lab. If you need help starting or growing your business, visit www.colab.co and schedule your first wayfinding meeting with a team member today. Today, we are here with Briana Garza, the founder of Chatt Taste Food Tours. Briana, welcome to Behind Business Trends, Chattanooga Edition. How are you today?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing really well. I love the fact that I get to see someone face to face.
I know, right?
In the age of Zoom, like this is a highlight. So this is the highlight of my day. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. The pleasure is all mine. You know, I've seen your business, Chattanooga Food Tours around town. I've seen you like all over the news, all over social media, like you're everywhere. So I'm really pleased to be able to sit down with you and really get to know who is this woman behind this amazing brand. So I'm super excited. So let's dive right in. All right, so let's start off with, where are you from originally?
Ooh, super convoluted question.
Okay.
The short answer is I was born in Vicenza, Italy. I'm the daughter of a U.S. Army veteran, so we traveled a lot. So to say where I'm from, I have no clue. But I call Chattanooga home. I've been here for 14 years, so any Army brat watching or listening is like, yeah, that's your home. That's the longest you've probably been anywhere. And that's true. Where I'm from is a little bit difficult to answer, but I'm a Chattanoogan.
I love it. I love that answer. That was a very raw and honest answer. And I think, like you said, Army brats can definitely relate to that. So what was it like? What was your childhood like? Was it, always constantly making new friends? What was
the
it
lack
like?
thereof. I would say, okay, moving was rough. I won't sugarcoat that.
Yeah.
Moving around and not having like childhood friends. Even now in my 30s, I hear people talk about friendships that have lasted 15, 20 years, and I don't necessarily have that, and that's okay, because the relationships that I'm building now matter so much to me. But when I think about my childhood, it consisted of moving and eating. The first thing that we would do when we got to a new location is my dad would find out where the locals eat, where they hang out, where they shop. And that's where we make the most connections. That's where we hung out. And it has played a huge role into how this business is structured now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So let me ask you, when you were growing up, did you always know that you would be an entrepreneur, or do you feel like it's something that you grew into?
Oh, goodness. I definitely wasn't born an entrepreneur. I was born to get an education, go to college, get a good job, provide for your family. I do think I became an entrepreneur because truly environment, because of the people I was around in Chattanooga, because of the support of the city. I can't say I was born an entrepreneur.
Okay, that's cool. And tell me about, you said that you went to school here. What was that like? What brought you to Chattanooga?
Well, originally I was accepted into UTK, super intimidated by the campus. So my plan was to stop in UTC as a roadblock, do my freshman year at UTC. I was only 17 when I graduated, and then transfer to UT Knoxville. And then I remember it was the end of the first semester in college, and I was like, I'm not going anywhere. Why would I move again? But I blossomed here. I'm telling you, the Briana prior to Chattanooga, who had no intention on getting to know people and developing lasting relationships, because who knows how long we'll be around each other, and the Briana now are two different women. Time played a huge role in that. But I have so much appreciation for this city because I grew as a person here.
Yeah. Do you think that your college experience helped to shape that for you?
I'm working on giving my degree back.
What was your degree in, by the way?
If anyone knows a person. But my degree is in political science. Okay. I started off pre-law and then changed my concentration into public administration and nonprofit management. And so the last 10 years of my life, I've overseen clinical services for a nonprofit using my nonprofit background.
Very interesting, Briana. I didn't know that about you. Okay, so how did political science to nonprofits, how did you get into Chattanooga Taste Food Tours? Where did that come from?
Good night. People expect a really poetic response, like, oh, I just love to cook. It's in me. I can't boil an egg. Okay.
Well, now that you told that story about your dad, like it kind of like fits,
It
because
does.
it's exactly that same concept.
I see food and plating and fine dining the way someone walks into a gallery and looks at art. I have an appreciation. Like you go to a concert, not because you can play the guitar, not because you are Beyonce and you can hit those notes, because you have an appreciation for the arts. I think people often forget that your plate, your dining experience is culinary arts. So Chatt Taste was kind of a reflection of my background, who I am, how I grew up, but that appreciation, not because I'm the best cook, is almost a mute point because I have an appreciation for what that back of the house does. Yeah. And I like to share that with people. Like imagine meeting someone, and even my background in nonprofit management, hiring practitioners, hiring therapists, you can conduct business in a public setting and it tells you so much about a person, how they treat the waitress, how they treat the staff. And that's a huge indicator on whether I wanted to do business with you in that previous setting. So it translates so well into what I do now because that's my comfort zone. I can know exactly who you are if we share a meal together.
That's real. That's so true. It tells a lot. That's very telling. What inspired you to create your brand, Chatt Taste? Like, where did you decide to connect the dots and say, I'm going to do a tour, we're going to, try all these fabulous restaurants? Like, where did that idea blossom?
Okay, well, I consider myself the co-founder of Chatt Taste. Okay. When we were developing the company, it was myself and two other friends. Okay. And I pay full homage to them because we were like, listen, we can do this. We love eating out. We were doing it essentially for free anyway because we eat out so much.
Were you like foodies? Was
yes!
this like a foodie group? Okay.
You know, if you don't have food on your Instagram, it's not popping. You ain't doing it if you don't have a pretty plate on there at some point. But people, after I graduated from UTC, I won't say what year because people will start doing math, but I've been here for 15 years, so there you go. All my friends moved away. There was like a pilgrimage to Dallas and Atlanta, but during homecoming and when people come back to visit, they always ask, hey, Briana, what do I do? Where do I eat? I know you know the scoop. Yeah. So I was essentially curating these dining experiences naturally anyway. And then I started getting into property management. I launched a few Airbnbs. Okay. And
we're going to get into that too. I want to hear a lot about that.
It's all about the origin story for Chatt Taste.
So, well, let's go into it now. Yeah. So the property management thing, how did that navigate into Chatt Taste, and what were you doing with the property management? So I, not a property manager, capital P, capital M, not a property manager proper, but managing my own properties. I spent my 20s buying houses. It was my way of building wealth for my daughter. I'm the proud mother of a third grader at CSAS, and so I was legacy building. I was building something for our family. And a few of those properties, I began looking into short-term vacation rentals, Airbnbs. And that's what I used to launch Chatt Taste. And I think that part of the story matters so much because I'm really proud that Chatt Taste is debt-free. And you can be a debt-free company if you are creative enough and you're willing to take a few risks outside of the conventional route of getting funding through a loan. And so that's what I do now. In addition to food tours, I help other entrepreneurs and people interested learn how to start their own Airbnb companies with empty bedrooms. If you have a couch or a backyard, you can Airbnb and be successful on that platform. So you teach this? Like, where can people find out about this?
Well, we actually have a class coming up.
Do you?
Yes, we do.
Tell.
February 9th. We'll be hosting it in conjunction with Proof Bar and Incubator, located on MLK Boulevard. It'll be February 9th at 5:30. Tickets are not live now. Give it some time. And we are going to be launching those tickets. They'll be available for purchase as of January 25th.
Okay, that's not too far from now.
No.
Sign me up. I'm definitely interested in that. So yeah, we'll have to bring you back to talk about your Airbnb mentoring. But I can only assume that from you. And first of all, let me back up. as a realtor here in Chattanooga, like I applaud you for just having the wisdom and the insight at 20 to build wealth through home ownership and by investing in real estate. I too agree that that is like one of the fastest pathways to building legacy, to building wealth, to having the American dream. So I salute you for that. So I can only assume, yes, ma'am. So I can only assume that from your Airbnb clients that came in, they were like, where do we go? What do we do? And then voila, Chatt Taste.
Exactly. If you're going to be doing it anyway, why not structure it? And it actually came about, I was at a coffee shop, a local coffee shop, and I was hosting, so I'm interfacing with guests, telling them what to do, where to go, and it was a challenge. Like, why don't you just do that? Like you can't get paid to have dinner and eat lunch. Fast forward 2 years, my full-time job is to eat dinner and lunch. That's what I do now, full-time.
Yeah. I would say that to make this work, I'm just thinking about all the different parts that go along with the relationships, like the contracts or whatever, because it helped me explain it to our watchers, to our viewers. Chatt Taste does what when they go on a tour, and then we can kind of break down the relationship guru that you are to make this masterpiece all come together. But what is the experience like?
So imagine going to 4 restaurants, peak hours. So we're talking pre-COVID. The restaurant is packed out. You are in a small group of 6 to 8 guests. You're walking right past everyone waiting. You sit down, the chef plates you your food, not the servers. You're having direct interaction with the executive chef who has curated a meal just for you. Because prior to you coming, when you purchased your ticket, you had already designated your allergies, your dietary preferences. If you don't like tomatoes, if white sauce makes you cringe, I know all of that. I've captured all of that information. And from that information, the chef has curated a meal just for you. It's all about the experience. Can you go out to eat on your own? Absolutely. But you can't interface and interact with the executive chef who only does back of the house unless you're on a food tour. So the food tour is visiting 3 to 4 restaurants in a single evening. All food tours are 2 hours long. And it's the experience. It's talking to the chef. It's understanding their background. We're storytellers. Chatt Taste is a play on words. It's a conversation over food.
That is so dope, Briana. Like I'm in love with the concept, with the idea. So you mentioned that pre-COVID, this is when you could, get in, despite, you don't have to make a reservation. Everything is handled through Chatt Taste food tours. How has COVID changed your business structure? Has it changed it?
It has, but not much.
Okay.
Ironically, your typical food tour company is going to bring upwards of 25 guests at a time to have kind of this experience. We always wanted this food tour company to be an intimate experience. I want to remember all the guest names. When I'm training tour guides, I want them to understand and have a relationship with every group. And you can't do that in large numbers. So pre-COVID, we maxed our group size out at 8 guests. Post-COVID, we reduced it by 2. Our business model is still the same. We still do primarily patio open air seating. So we were able to maintain the still level of intimacy for our food tour experience. Honestly, pre-COVID, as we are doing, operating now.
Okay, and on average, how much are your food tours? Like, what's the price range?
So the price range of food tours is going to average between $55 and $69.
For 4 meals, for 4 experiences at 4 restaurants? Does that include drinks?
I'm not paying her to say this. I promise I did not slide her some money. Yes! Is that not insane? And it's meant to be an exchange. Yeah. The why not? Why wouldn't you do a food tour? It's 2 hours. It is the same price in exchange of a conventional dinner. Like, why wouldn't you?
Exactly. My thoughts exactly. So what is your current role within the company? You mentioned before that it started with you and 2 co-founders. What's your current role?
And so I have 100% ownership now. My co-founders, one co-founder is working to become a nurse practitioner. My other co-founder is now a licensed social worker. So their careers have taken them on other paths, but they still provide so much knowledge and so much support for the company. So I will always consider myself a co-founder, although I do own the company 100%.
Nice, nice. Let's talk about overcoming challenges. You seem like a go-getter. Like, I don't think I've ever seen you not with like a positive, upbeat, attitude and, an energy about yourself. And I know every day isn't like that, but from the outside looking in, it looks like your world is fantastic. What challenges have you faced and how have you overcome them?
Oh gosh, I hate to state the obvious. I mean, the elephant in the room is that the entire globe has done like a paradigm shift. No one knows what's going on. Right now, my new favorite word is insurrectionist. Like it's insane.
It's crazy.
But to your point, it's about perspective. And I do think challenges force creatives to figure it out. A recession is a creative's playground. We take obstacles and we find these ways to grow roses out of concrete regardless.
Problem solvers.
Yes, and I can tell, honestly, Tanisha, I was able to slow down during COVID long enough to think processes through. And I want that to be our reputation. I want all of the business that we provide to be thorough, to be well thought out. And once you get going, and that wheel doesn't slow down. I mean, if you oil it well, I mean, you're gone, right?
Correct.
COVID has allowed me to slow down long enough to be sure that our next move and how we're operating, our customer service experience is thorough. COVID has been thrown so many curveballs, but I appreciate it. Mm-hmm. I appreciate this time.
Same. I feel the same way. It slowed you down, but it was a good slow down. It was a very, strategic slowdown, yes. And I feel like it's going to thrust a lot of us, way further than we would have been if we would have been just rushing through the year.
Yeah.
If we were just like the hustle and bustle.
I saw a meme, and it said, "Listen, if there's a meme, you're not the only one going through it, right? Doesn't it make you feel better? Like, it ain't just me." And it said that if you didn't hustle during the pandemic, the hustle may not be in you.
Yeah, it's not. That's facts. Like I second that. I second that because if you didn't have it then, you had all this time, all the time in the world. Time was like standing still. I feel like I was in Jamaica. It was like, it's Iron Man. Everything is slow motion. So you're right. If you couldn't get it together then, I don't know what to say.
That was your time.
That was your time. So look, speaking of like new levels and new steps and, regrouping and really slowing things down, I understand that Chatt Taste Food Tours now has an additional product that birthed it. Did it like happen out of 2020 or? Okay, tell us about it.
Gosh. You're asking me about like a child, and my daughter's going to listen to this like, what? Yes, so we and I have CoLab to thank. Thank them for sponsoring this podcast and letting me tell this story. But I am a graduate of the Consumer Goods Program sponsored by CoLab. Sweet. And I could not have dedicated that time to that program if we weren't in a global pandemic. But I'm so proud of the product that was birthed as a result of it. Mm-hmm. And, lead into a Taste of Chattanooga Box. One thing I want people to know about our company is that we don't pretend to know. There is no PR person with these ultra political responses to questions. If there's an inquiry and I don't know the answer, you're likely going to get a response and say, I have no clue. Mm-hmm. But I will get back to you. And we do get back to you. And we do appreciate the questions that guests ask, that consumers ask. And one question that we were plagued with is, what about people that are high risk? I understand that you've reduced group sizes, that your food tours are patio based. Mm-hmm. I want to support local restaurants. I want to be a friend of the food and beverage industry, but I don't want to necessarily go out in public and, I want to mitigate risk as much as possible. And that's what the Taste of Chattanooga Box is. We're taking our philosophy of supporting the food and beverage industry, small businesses in Chattanooga, and we're delivering it to your door. We're in this, Chattanooga is such an altruistic community. Mm-hmm. We want to give back. We are supporters of each other. It's sometimes people just don't know how. And that's what we were solving. Like, how do I support the community? You do that by supporting multiple small businesses in one box. A box can have upwards of 13 businesses inside of it.
Wow. How innovative can you be? I like the fact that you're like, okay, that's the problem. Solved. We can bring the packages to you. So I understand now it's a hand delivery service, or you come to, how does it work? Tell us.
So by definition, it's a subscription box.
Okay.
So you make your order now, And it comes in 2 flavors, and excuse the food pun, they'll be abundant during this conversation. But the first flavor is the subscription service. You sign up for the subscription, and it's at a discounted rate, and every month you get a box delivered to your door, but it's not of the same product. Every month
it's something different.
It's a different theme. So now we're in vegan you Airy, help me with it. No, we don't know. It is the vegan month. In January, we are sponsoring vegan products. And so next month, it'll be a completely different grouping, a selection of local consumer goods products delivered to your door. The second option for your box is a one-time gift. So you're not subscribing. Mm-hmm. You want to purchase one box delivered to this location. And that location can be a business. It could be a thank you to a colleague. It could be delivered out of state. We deliver across the continental U.S. It's a way for people that weren't able to travel during the holiday season, that have family members in Chattanooga, have ties to Chattanooga, to get a piece of the city delivered to their door, no matter where you are.
Nice. And what do we call this product? The Chatt Taste Box?
The Taste of Chattanooga Box.
The Taste of Chattanooga Box. Okay, I like it. And so it's a subscription service and also a one-stop, one-time delivery service as well. That's sweet. So do you still do the tours?
We do.
Okay, so now you have both.
We have both, and we want our customers to feel heard, because we are listening. Food tours are still an available option. We are only partnering with restaurants that not only follow CDC guidelines, but have honored the Tennessee Pledge, which is additional layer of scrutiny in terms of COVID consciousness and precaution. So we're definitely doing our part to make sure that this experience can be valued but safe. But if that's not, what you're looking for, this box answers that call to action of how do I support the food and beverage industry that is still in crisis. We have not recovered in terms of food and beverage at this point, and we have no idea what the future holds. We use verbiage like new normal, but we're still waiting for it to go away. We kind of contradict ourselves. So yeah, this is what we do now. Your food tour in a box.
Yeah. I just want to really congratulate you. You're doing amazingly well despite the pandemic, despite all the changes. You've innovated, you've pivoted. That's the word of 2020 is pivot. And you've turned out a very fabulous product that is very 2021, very futuristic, and it still works, and you're able to support local. And I feel like that is who you are, Briana. Whenever I look at your social media, it's all about supporting your local economy, your local small businesses, and I think that's exactly what we need to continue to do during these really pressing and unprecedented times, right? So how is it being a Black founder in Chattanooga, Tennessee? A Black female founder?
Good night. A Black female parent. I mean, we can go on and on.
Right.
Listen, this city, this is a business incubator. Mm-hmm. If you have a good idea, it doesn't matter if you are an orange chameleon business owner. If you're passionate about your product, you're passionate about your business, and you are going to do the work, have the grit to make your product sustainable and to build the relationships, you're going to do well here. I mean, we're nationally recognized for being a business incubator. Chattanooga is where you come to start that project, to take that leap.
It's Gig City, right?
It is Gig City. Right. We have the fastest internet, girl. Get on that internet.
Shout out to EPP.
And book a tour, right?
Right.
But in terms of to truly to slow down and answer that question, I do feel that if I were in another city, I don't necessarily feel I would have the same opportunity as I have here. I've always been able to have what I call the most valuable resource, and that's access to mentors and people.
Speaking of mentors, who would you consider to be your business mentor?
Oh my! I can roll out the scroll, right? First of all, I've been a huge fan of yours for forever.
Oh, stop it.
No, seriously, and I know you're the host, and we're not supposed to do this, but come on, you're killing it too. But in terms of food and beverage, I have to shout out, in hospitality, Tom Underwood, the GM at the Westin. Okay. West Village and the Westin Hotel were one of the first groups to adopt this crazy philosophy of, can I bring people in to meet your chef?
Yeah. Fantastic spot, by the way.
I'm obsessed with it. I think it's amazing. I think Chattanooga is ready for it. I love it. In terms of mentorship, I have to to say Mia Littlejohn, who was one of the instructors for the Collab Consumer Goods program. She's helped me so much, not just as a female entrepreneur, but as a mother, balancing those roles and those hats, because it's difficult.
Absolutely.
You want to give all of those roles 100%, and finding that balance. So she has been instrumental in that regard. Javier Ramos, who is the restaurateur at Alimentari. I'd have to say good night. Adam, who is the owner of Pedigo Chattanooga, because the food tour company is not just food. We're kind of a small business brand in general.
Yeah.
But I could go on and on about mentors. And I'm doing that to emphasize the importance of them.
Yes.
You have to have mentors.
Absolutely. And I would think that, I want to circle back to something I said earlier, that I feel that one of your gifts, one of your many strengths, and the reason why you've been so successful in this city is because of your relationships, of your ability to build relationships and to foster them and to make them, somewhat strategic and work for you in your business.
Yeah.
Like, is that something that you've always had? Like, what can you say to someone that's out there that's like, I feel limited in Chattanooga. Like, I'm an entrepreneur, but I feel like, I don't have the opportunities, or I don't have the know-how to get my business out there. What advice do you have as it pertains to relationships? Because you're like the relationship master, okay?
Don't be afraid to ask. I think the biggest obstacle that small business owners have, and me included starting off, is having this weird notion that you should have your shit together. Like, it is okay to not know. It is okay to ask the dumb question, because I guarantee you, there are 15 other people. You can be in a room of 20. You can ask a question and 15 people don't know the answer either. I'm not afraid to say I have no idea what that means. Can you break that? Can you unpack that? And people are so passionate about what they do is that they appreciate someone that's interested in what they know, their know-how. And I reciprocate those relationships. The second piece of advice to that is to be a good steward of people's time. Show up on time if they're going to be feeding into you and dropping gems. Send that thank you note after the meeting. When you see them, like, pay homage to what they've offered you. And if there's a way to barter and for you to reciprocate what they've provided, do that. Do that willingly. Do it abundantly. Never stop. If you haven't talked to a mentor in over a year, fix that. Every couple of months, you need to be saying, hey, is there anything I can do for you? And that's in me. That is an intrinsic value that my parents instilled. You be appreciative of people that help you.
That's good advice. That's good stuff right there. Awesome stuff. Well, I could talk to you all day, Briana. Like, I definitely want to have you back. It's been amazing talking to you and learning about your business, Chatt Taste Food Tours 2.0. No, I just
yeah, right.
But I love the taste box and everything you have got going on. For all our viewers and listeners watching, will receive a 15% discount on your next purchase with Chatt Taste Food Tours. Check the link below and visit her website, which is chattaste.com, for a discount on your next purchase. Briana, thank you so much. You are a superwoman. We reciprocate our proudness to one another. Keep pushing on. I know that 2021 is going to be your best year yet. Thank you so much for being our guest today. And until next time, thank you all for tuning in for another episode of Behind Business Trends Nougat Edition podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media at Behind Business Trends. I'm your host, Tanisha Irvin, signing off. Peace and love.